Recording. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is such a beautiful time. We're going to try to get this in under an hour. I know, Shay, I'm so excited too. This is Past Lives, Future Healing, Unlocking Your Destiny. Unlocking Your Destiny. Let's try that again. Welcome everyone to Past Lives, Future Healing, Unlocking Your Destiny. My name is Randina Marie, and many clients know me as the Queen of Rapid Transformation. Many women around the world know me as the Queen of Rapid Transformation because I take women from where they are to where they want to be at quantum speeds. So this is what I'm known for. This is what I absolutely love to do. So you are in for a treat today because we have Mira Kelley. Mira Kelley is a beautiful, infamous, and famous past life regressionist who was also Wayne Dyers' past life regressionist. And so that's actually how I found out about her. So we're going to share that with you a little bit later. And she's messaging me, so let's just let her know we're starting now. So as everybody starts to come on the line, thank you for coming into this beautiful and sacred space. The chat is open, so you can chat amongst each other, and I will also see your chats. So for everyone who has questions, you can type them into the chat box, and if we have time, we will answer them. Also, try to use the Q&A because it works a lot easier. That way I can organize them and I'm not having to scroll up and down through the chat box to see where your questions are. So maybe even just holding your questions until the end. So if you have a notepad, which I hope you do, because if you've watched me at all before, you know I give a lot of information and you're going to want to take a lot of notes because some of the stuff is going to be able to be readily received by you and you're going to understand it. And then some of it you'll go back to later and it'll mean something different to you. It says, it's just like the same thing as when you read a book at one level and then you go back and read a book at another level. You read it completely different. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I gave Mira the panelist. Let me see if she's on the regular link. I know a lot of you were like, where's the link? We don't know. Apparently the system sends it out 15 minutes before it starts, maybe to keep you in suspense. I don't know. It's all automatic. So for everyone who reached out to me and contacted me, thank you. I appreciate that you were so eager to be on this because it's really amazing. Plus, I am also going to give away a session with Mira, an in-person, in-depth session too, to a lucky winner, one of you who attended here live. So I'm going to do that at the end. So make sure you stay tuned to see if you were called, because if your name does not show up, then you will not be included in the drawing. And if it does, then you will. So it's awesome. She really is what changed my life too. You know, like encountering her, just the synchronistic of events that occurred. Hi, Karine. Oh, you got it down like 2 minutes before the email came through. Awesome. I know, I'm really, really excited for this. So let's see where she is. I'm just going to actually send her a straight text message rather than Instagram. Mira, where are you? Someone has her hand up. Maybe it's her. Maybe she had to join that way. I don't know how to see that. Let's see. Fortunately, it does it like in a way that I can see. I don't see her on here yet. Hi, Anna. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Sarah and Christine. Sarah, I'm not sure why you have your hand up. Christine, I don't know why you have your hand up. Maybe wait until the end and see. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. I'm just going to lower your hands. Perfect. Okay, let's see. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Yeah. Yeah, I do that too. I know, Michelle, it's so exciting too, Christine. She said, oops, multitasking. Mute and pressed it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so while we're waiting for Mira, let's just all get connected. Everyone, you're in my group. Almost all of you are from my group. There are a few new people, so thank you so much and welcome to this beautiful space that we're in. So as I said before at the beginning of this, my name is Randina Marie, and I have the groups, The Power of a Woman and the Sacred Society. So my mission is really all about awakening the power within you, helping you to discover your own connection with your own inner being and figure out the mystery of your life and your birth chart, your birth promise, because you did come here for a reason. And when you really start to know that and understand that and feel that in your heart and express it in your life, all of the different synchronistic events will come to you too, which you've probably been experiencing a lot, especially if you've been following me for a while. So I really love helping women just excavate that and really harness it and then grow it and turn it into a profit building business so that they can do what they came here to do if that's what they choose. If not, it's just another thing to have for your life to help you also, not only receive more money, but also really love who you are and come to this earth to do what you came here to do. When you start pulling together all the pieces of the mystery and it makes sense, you just have a different sense of being in life. And so that is really what my mission is here on this earth at this point in time. So before we wait, or before Mira gets on, let's everyone get connected. So everyone just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just giving yourself permission to feel into the sacred space. And I surround the space with the white light of divine love. And I call forth Archangel Michael to dissolve all resistance within and without, and just really allow you to tune into the messages that are for you from spirit, from the universe that you feel in your heart. And just setting your ego and your critical mind to the side, just by saying, I set my ego and my critical mind to the side and I tune into the truth of my heart. Allowing yourself to receive any information that is for you, that is going to help you on your journey. And just let go of all the rest. It may be for someone else. And then we flow the white light of divine love through our crown, opening up our awakening and our receiving of wisdom, and to our third eye, allowing us to see our lives and our future for the truth. Into our throat for authentic expression, into the heart for the place of living and expressing that into the world. Into the solar, your place of power. Into your sacral, knowing your divine worth and deservingness. And into your root, feeling loved and grounded and supported on this earth, down through your legs, your knees, your lower legs, and your feet, and from the base of your spine and the bottoms of your feet down into the center of the earth. And we call forth all of the highly evolved beings, your guides, your ancestors, your angels, who are also here to help you ascend, to be with us now. So we invite them into this beautiful space. May we receive the wisdom of our highest selves so that we can fully express this in our reality from this day forward. And we say these things in the name of love. Amen. Hi, Mira. Perfect.
Hello. It's so wonderful to be with you. Hello.
I know, we're so excited to see you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Perfect timing. We were just finishing our heart connection. So even tuning, maybe if we all want to tune in, just put our hands on our hearts so that we can connect in this space.
I love that.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So excited. So I really love this. I wanted to do this Past Lives, Future Healing, Unlocking Your Destiny with you because I know what a profound gift it was for me to really have that mystery solved. You know, of the thousands of lifetimes that we've experienced, there are certain ones that have something to do with this lifetime. You know, your story is so amazing too. And then hearing even Wayne Dyer, how he was able to unlock, you know, the mystery of why he was so adamant on bringing love to the planet through a session with you. That's how I found out about you. And that same thing happened for me too. And so I wanted to bring you to my community, to our tribe, so that they can also feel you and really know who you are rather than, you know, just seeing the popping in online, because it's different when you're actually personally engaging with someone than when you just see them online. So for me, when I have profound experiences, I just want to share with everybody because I know what it did for me. And I know that everybody that follows me is also on this path of discovering their birth promise and wanting to know what they came here to do so that they can fulfill it. Because there's part of us that knows that when we do that, everything gets a lot easier. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I really love your community. You have such amazing people as part of your tribe, your soul family.
Yes.
And we had such an amazing, powerful time at your goddess retreat in Hawaii. So I know some of you. So those of you who are with us on the line, hello, hello. And the rest of you, I'm really happy to meet you and to connect with you and to bring you into this world of growth and expansion by seeing your soul's path, right? Because there's so much that we can learn and understand by seeing the bigger path of our journey and how much we can bring in. And that's exactly what was happening with Wayne Dyer when you were talking about him. I was thinking about that. So Wayne was really very impactful in spreading my work, my message to the world. But he really did it because much like you know, he experienced something profound and then he just wanted to tell everybody. And so with his experience with me, he was able to connect with the trauma that has been plaguing him all his life. And for him, that was abandonment, right? Abandonment that first began with his mom, then with women in his life, you know. So that was the core of the experience. But along with it came the greatest learning and the greatest lesson, that it's all about love, that it's all about connecting with the divine, that we're all one, that when you forgive, doorways and pathways opened in profound, extraordinary ways. And I know this is a journey you've walked on yourself, right? The journey of forgiveness and how that changes us profoundly.
Yes. Yes. I really loved that. You know, I think it was in his Wishes Fulfilled book. Mm-hmm. So if for all of you who have not read that, like you have to read it. I love the audiobook because he's actually speaking it. Mm-hmm. And so I too was like, I lived a life of tragedy after tragedy. I mean, it was like 1 year after, it was just bam, like so many things that have happened to me in one lifetime. Most people don't even experience a fraction of it in their entire lifetime. And so I started to really want to know why this was occurring and how I could heal from it so that I could do something more with it. And listening to his book and then hearing about how he talked about you and how he discovered, like there was always something that was compelling him to do what he did, obviously, you know, and then it was when he really had the pieces of the puzzle put together through having a past life experience with you, that he was like, oh, now it all makes sense, you know. So this is also one of the things that I do too, is I tell people, you experience that for a reason. Like it feels like it was just done to you and the universe was just pushing you, or whatever your belief system is. But the truth is that it really has it's an integral part of what you came here to do. And when you see that and you feel it and you remember, because it is a remembering, it's like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. And so I even know all about life themes. Like we all come here, we all have a different theme. Like some people's rejection, some people's abandonment, some people's, you know, fulfilling soul contracts. Like there's so many different things. And I have like 7 in one. And it was because I was supposed to go through so much tragedy so that I could relate to so many people to be able to help them through it too. And then understand that it really was the same as Wayne Dyers. I mean, even in my past life, it was like wanting to help alleviate the suffering in the world. And that's one of the things that I saw when I had my session with you too.
And what you're saying is making me think how when you become aligned and congruent with your soul's purpose, when you really remove the static, there are a few things that come as a byproduct, right? Most of us here in this community, we're doing the work because we're aligned with our purpose in the world, how we serve, how we change others, how we carry the mission of bringing light to the world. But there is also this added benefit of actually our health improving too. Right? Because when you
that inner fight.
Exactly. So that's exactly also what happened with Wayne. So I was a critical piece in him actually heal from leukemia. So when I met him, that was his challenge. And what is leukemia but blood moving through the body, and in a form of not enoughness, right? In the form of not nourished and not provided for and not supplied. And so how extraordinary was it that, you know, he became much more aware of his purpose, but also his body healed, right? Because when he died, the autopsy revealed that he died from a heart attack, and there was no trace of the leukemia in his body.
Right.
And so the same happens with each one of us when we realign with our vision, with our truth, when we're no longer resisting that movement of energy being creatively expressed. The body doesn't need to become the messenger of saying, hey, pay attention, right? This is where you're blocking things.
Yes, I know. It is really so profound. I remember the first time that I had a client go back into a past life during a session with me. And past life regression wasn't something that I did. It was during a healing session. She went straight back to Native American days, because what was happening in her real life was she was entangled with this man who she swore up and down was her soulmate, who was continuously abusing her, rejecting her, abandoning her. She couldn't let go of it. And so it was affecting her life. It was affecting her health. It was affecting everything about her. She just didn't know why she couldn't let go of this man. So when we were in session, what ended up happening is she goes into a past life Native American where they were together, but they were sisters, and their village was taken over, and they were both in the tent, the teepee, and she got up to go, and then the man who was the sister at that point in time couldn't leave, but told her go. So she just ran and then turned back and saw the teepee taken over and knew that her sister had been murdered. So she always had that attachment, even coming back in this life with this man who's now a man, because she didn't want to leave him, because she was afraid if she left him, he would die. And once that was unlocked and unraveled, it was like all the pieces of the puzzle came together. The healing occurred. She didn't need this person anymore, moved on, and then literally met her soulmate after that. So it was like, I mean, her real, you know, they're all soulmates. So we come to replay this because maybe she had so much guilt in that life, you know, that she just, because so she came to replay it to say it's okay, you know, to be yourself. And I know when I had my personal experience with you, it was this, I was at this certain income level. I was making a lot of money and I was like really loving it, but I was getting rid of it as fast as it was coming. So I was like, what is going on? I know that I have a limitation here. My set point is set at this and I'm not able to keep it. It has something to do with worthiness and deservingness, all this stuff. So in my past life experience with you, it was, I was shown two parallels, right? Like it was, and then there was one, I know some of you have heard this story before and I'm going to say it again because it's so profound. And I was this woman that was of luxury, that had all this, that was going on a private train. And there was this little girl who was in black and white-ish, you know, she was like holding onto a tattered blanket in concentration camps. And there was part of me that did not want to leave her. I just wanted to stay with her. But see, here was the thing. If I stayed with her, which was a replication of my wounded self and my not believing I was deserving and worthy of having money, that I deserved to be here, I would have created that reality in this reality. Now, what I chose in this life experience was to go and do something about it to get her out of the concentration camp with using my money as power. So then I had an opportunity. You can keep living in this scarcity mindset and getting rid of all your money, or you can realize what money really is and what the tool that it really is, and you could do something to change the world. And so that was what I chose. And then from that point, it was just like easier and easier and easier, and the beliefs just started coming. I started to see money for what it really was rather than what we've been taught it was. So that was just one experience with you, and it was just so profound. It shifted my life.
Amazing. I really love what you're sharing, because that's exactly what regression and what you shared about your client previously. What a story, right? That's exactly what regression reveals. It shows you the pattern so succinctly, so beautifully. You move emotions so powerfully. Everything feels that in that moment you get it, as if you step out of time, you see the bigger picture and you're like, oh my God, but this is a different life. I can choose differently. And then that's how we do it, right? Because we all know better. We all know better, right? By now we've all heard it. We've known the tools, right? Like you're so amazing and so generous with everything you teach your women, right? They know it, but it's always that feeling of like, what is it? And once we figure it out, it's just, everything clicks, falls into place. We feel so empowered. And the better it gets, the better it gets. And the only question is, how good can you stand it, right?
It's so true. And this is also too, the thing for me is I've been on this journey of wanting to know the truth. I've listened to thousands of hours of lectures. I've attended so many seminars, gone to in-person programs, trainings, Reiki, hypnosis, everything that you could under the sun, I have literally done. So I've been able, and also having your birth chart read too for this life, because it does help you. So I know the power of these things. I know. And when I heard about you from Wayne, I was like, I need to have a session with her. That's what I need to do. And then you just came into my life, into my real life experience. Just like I knew he had something to do with it. It was just so beautiful and amazing. And so it's like when you have the map and you can feel that something's limiting you and something's blocking you and you can't figure it out, it's just the most beautiful gift, because the way that you guide people into this journey. I mean, when we were all there, because we were there with you in person, I remember seeing this one man and I thought he was really physically attractive, but there was something about his energy that was great, because I can see auras and I can see fractures and all that stuff within people. And so I could see that he was great. So I was like, no, not really. And then after the session with you, he was like this completely lit up, most handsome man I've ever seen. I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to come to this congregation more often so I could see you. But just every single person that was in that room, even in Hawaii, every single person, it's like, you can see them change and transform.
Right there. Yes, absolutely. Right in front of my eyes. I love the blessing of this work because it's very quick, and that's what we love. We love speed. Let's be honest about it. And we love work that's deep and meaningful and allows us to shift in powerful ways. And wasn't it incredible how we connected at that event? I just went there to do a workshop, and you guys showed up all out of the blue, out of nowhere, having decided to find a new space. And that was such a blessing to connect. It's been a blessing in my life in so many ways. And what I really love about working with the women who are, a part of your a tribe who are with us today is that you ladies are just extraordinary, so committed, so hungry for change. I did the gratitude challenge with you. I was there for all the classes, every day. I was so connected with the group, and it was really mind-blowing to me what an amazing group of women there is, how they're so heart-centered, so open, so eager, and that is such a beautiful place to say, okay, now let's take it to the next level, right? Let's connect through a past life regression. Let's see the bigger picture, and let's give you the missing piece. And the way I do past life regression is very unique, very different. Obviously, I've done it for so long that I created my own method and my own style. But one thing I really love doing with people that is the process of taking people into the future. And your sister had such a powerful experience. Everybody did at the retreat, right?
Yes, because it was everything that and it's not like you're constructing it. You are just viewing it. And it was every single thing that I had been, even the gratitude challenge, wishing and hoping and working towards. It was like, I just had the most profound awakening during that experience.
So that everybody knows what we're talking about. So I guide people into a process where you get to experience the future. And now let's say it like it is. The future is not set in stone. There isn't only one future, right? There are myriads of possibilities. And so I guide people to see the different possible futures. And then you're actually informed of, kind of like going from the end backwards, right? So if this is the end, what steps do I need to take in order to get there? And by the way, is this the end I even want, right? Because I've got different options, obviously. And so that allows for a change in direction so beautifully, so gracefully, in such an informed way. And I was doing a session with somebody the other day, and she had this question of, should I go down this path? Should I take this job? Should I actually move? What is this about? And I was thinking, how is this different than working with a psychic, right? Because when you go to a psychic, they will tell you something, right? They'll give you an answer. They'll tell you this is what's possible, this is what's going to happen. So what was so interesting is that she experienced different possibilities. This is something that a psychic cannot give you, right? They're not going to say, and how about
this is also what I tell everybody too. I'm like, you have to remember that when you go to a psychic, they're showing you one potential parallel reality, and if you don't like it, you can change it.
Absolutely. Because that's what I believe as well, right? And so the other benefit for this was that the emotion, this woman felt the emotions of her future. It was so real to her that now when she sits down to manifest and to create that future, there's no doubt how she feels, right? Because the feeling is already something she experienced, right?
Yes.
And as the queen of manifestation, you totally understand the importance of connect with the feeling.
Right. And you can't have any like, I don't know, any doubt, I don't know. You can't have that. When you're like focused and solid, it's like you got it mapped straight there.
You're locked in. You're clear on the vision. Yeah. And so I really love how all of this also fits with something that you teach so well. And I definitely want us to talk about this idea of receiving, because you know this you're so focused on receiving, and all of this really allows us to step into receiving not only our purpose, not only our path, but the support of the universe, so that we can be the best we can possibly be.
Yep. Yeah, I realized that the reason I created this new program, The Rise of the Sacred Feminine, The Art of Receiving, is because I realized a lot of key things. I listen to Abraham Hicks all the time, and one of the things they talk about is that 99.9% of it is already done by the time you receive the desire for it. And we think that we're receiving a desire because it's something that we want, and then we have to go out and create it. It's already created by the time we receive that. This is what I want to experience. All we have to do is get in alignment and receive it. So this is also why it ties so beautifully into the future life progression, even the past life understanding, is because when you receive it, you're not constructing it. It's not like you're visualizing it. It just comes to you, and then you have this whole understanding. It's already created. All I have to do is be in alignment with it and be a match to it, and then it comes and it happens. We are creators in the sense that we can physically, use our energy to come into alignment with what we want to experience or not. We can choose not to and then experience chaos. But what we do is it's more of a receiving, because there's absolutely no way that we could create the beautiful synchronicities that this universe creates for us. So it was just such a profound transformational experience. And it just takes the action, do, manifest, make it happen out of it, because you're like, it's done already. I know I have to do the work, the inner work, to feel worthy and deserving, because it isn't about worthy and deservingness. We're born worthy and deserving, but we get taught that we're not. So then we take that through our lives and block ourselves. So really the real work is coming back to knowing that you're worthy and deserving, about your inner self-worth. And that's all sacral chakra and all your power, and then you receive the vision. So, I'm going to bring you with me for the rest of my life, because our work coincides so beautifully together. It's just like, it really, really, really is so amazing. And
And I love everything you just said, because that's exactly what happens during a regression with a person, right? Or with everyone, if I work with a group. Once we clear all those stories, once we see the bigger picture, the root cause, if you will, in another lifetime, once we cry the tears, once we get all that energy shifted, because it's all about energy alignment, right? Like, this experience, life is not a material experience, even though we perceive it that way through our senses. It's really a psychological experience. It's an energetic experience of life, right? So our work here is to work with energy. Our work is here to work with consciousness, our own consciousness, right? That's the biggest mastery, to master our mind and our thoughts. Yeah. So as we move this energy, all of a sudden we're clear space. We can be guided. We are in a state of receiving, right? And when we're trying to make it happen, because you mentioned Abraham Hicks, we're really in that step one, beating the drum about where is it? I gotta make it happen. I gotta make it happen. And here's what's so interesting. When we try to make things happen, our dreams, our goals, what we think is the best possible thing for us, we're really going on the basis of old information. We're going on the basis of what other people's experiences have been, right? Or what our experiences have been in the past. In other words, we're so limited. We're so limited in terms of what's possible, because the divine is sitting right beside us and saying, but I can give you better, and I can do it more elegantly, and I can do it faster if you just get out of the way, right? If you just allow yourself to receive, it will be so much better, right? And so that's why I love the manifestation work that you do and how you teach people, because you really bring them to the simplicity of just open up. Just open up. And isn't it interesting that when we feel good, we don't struggle with our deservedness. No. You don't go about trying to say, am I deserving? You feel so good that your worthiness is not even in question, right? Yes. So it's just so interesting to ruminate over these things and to share with people, and to know that there's a faster way, because the divine delivers complete patterns. Nothing is half-baked, you know.
And the only thing that's even limiting us in the first place is that we believe we're not worthy of it. And that is the furthest from the truth. So when we can get out of those old stories and that old conditioning and remember why we came, remember who and what we came from, and that it's all around us, then the whole worthiness and deservingness just comes into this beautiful fruition, rather than taking other people's opinions that were really opinions of their own selves projected onto you. Into you're just done with that. You're no longer feeling like, because I know one of the things for me with finances, it was like, am I really worthy and deserving of receiving tens of thousands of dollars at one time? You know, that's one of the reasons why I was blocking myself, because it was like I was conditioned to believe that there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't okay, that I was bad, that I was always in trouble as a child. So it was like, you're bad, you don't deserve, was the number one thing that my parents said. You can't have that, you don't deserve it. So we go in to think like, oh my gosh, I have to do something to be deserving. And then when you come to the realization that the infinite source that is only pure love that you come from also knows your deservingness, knows your worthiness, that's a given. And once you realize that, all that other stuff just disappears.
Very true. And this needing to deserve gets us in such funny patterns, you know. It gets us into places where overgive, over provide, feel over responsible, right? Let's talk about responsibility, because I know everybody on the line is like, yeah, me too. I have a problem with responsibility, right?
We were just talking about this last night, my daughter and I. It was like, no wonder why nobody wants to take responsibility or have responsibility, because look at the way our parents made it seem. Like once you hit adulthood, it's hell. You know, like you're done. Responsibility is terrible. You know?
Right, exactly, right? And think about it. So there's no one-sided coins. So if you feel that you gotta overgive, over provide in order to deserve being loved, right? You got to step in order to deserve being loved, because there's no one-sided coins. That means that you will find somebody who's messed up and who needs you to provide for them. I mean, it's just that simple, right? Yeah. Like if you're the woman who wants to save and take good care of people, right? You're just you'll find the pot to your lid. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to a few basic things. I trust my life. I trust the universe. I trust that life is safe. I trust that everybody has a soul's path and nobody's lost. Nobody's not going to get there. Everybody will get there, right? They'll get there in their own time, in their own way. And when I step in to be responsible for them, when I step in to over provide and protect, what I'm really doing is I'm actually disempowering them rather than empowering them and doing service and, loving the people I love so deeply. I'm really actually telling them, no, you don't have what it takes. Life is hard. You sit back, let me do it for you. And meanwhile, I'm stretching myself so thin. I'm on the back burner, right? I'm not taking care of myself. I'm over providing. I'm barely holding by a thin thread, but I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it for everybody else, but for myself.
You know what the crazy thing about that is that really is an inherent want to heal that part of yourself that you believe.
Yes. Yeah. And so when we do this healing work of stepping back and saying, you know, the world is a safe place. Now, the world is a crazy place. I'm not saying that the world is not crazy, but my life is a safe place.
Yeah.
I know how to master what I put out. So naturally what comes back to me is a safe place.
Yeah.
And so I believe the same for you. You're going to get there. You're provided, you're protected, you're taken care of. I'm right there. I'll help you when you need me, but I'm not going to step in and overgive and over provide, right? And be overly responsible for you. And all of a sudden everything is in balance. So simple. And then all of a sudden you feel worthy to take time for yourself and really be willing to say, oh, I deserve as well to give love to myself.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my sister yesterday, and we were talking about the mommy guilt, right? Because being a woman, having a husband, being, even if you don't, it's like the mother, you take responsibility for your children, you take responsibility for your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, whoever's in your life. And when they're not succeeding, when you're viewing them as not succeeding or something's going wrong, you can't be at rest because it's not all perfect for you to be able, because we, especially as mothers, have so much responsibility or guilt. And it was like, if you could remember that everybody in your life is such an old, wise soul. And that even though they may be children right now, or even though they may be a man who seems like he doesn't know what he's doing, he remembers, there's part of him that knows, and maybe he needs this contrast. So it really is just like a letting go, because when you can really just take care and honor of yourself, everyone else falls in line too. Because like you said before, when you're like, no, you can't do it, let me do it for you, you're also disempowering them. And so they'll continue to repeat that cycle. And the minute you're like, okay, listen, I know that you're strong and powerful. I know you're an old and wise soul, and that you're going to figure it out. And I'm going to be here figuring it out for me. And all of us are going to figure it out. It's like you can come back here rather than having all your energy, out
Scattered
there.
everywhere. Exactly. And this ties in with receiving so well, because once you don't feel like you're got to be responsible, there's room to receive, actually.
And you can't receive if you're out there. This is what a lot of people do. Most people don't want to live in their body. They don't want to live here. I heard this one study that they did where they had people that were sitting in a pitch black room in silence for 15 minutes. They could hear no noise. Most people only made it 2 or 3 minutes before they started going crazy, because they can't be with themselves, because their thoughts are just insane. And that's because they're so used to living externally, and they're afraid to live internally. So they're creating all of this craziness for themselves. When you get to a point where you can sit in silence for 15 minutes, and it doesn't mean the whole 15 minutes is silence, it means 10 seconds of the 15 minutes is silence. If you can reach that spot, then you're okay, you can feel it. But coming back to the internal and sending energy out and receiving energy, that is the way of the divine feminine. We send energy through our heart, and we receive energy through our root and sacral. It comes up and out like this. It's just like, even with a man, he receives energy through his heart and he sends it through his root and sacral. So it's meant to do this. And we've been, the whole society has been taught by men who were in that competition phase, in that fighting, in that action oriented. So we think that that's what we need to do too. And that's the opposite of the way women are designed. It's about receiving it. And when you really know your worth, when you really have all those stories that tell you you're not worthy or not good enough or not deserving, transformed and transcended to remembering who you are and what you came here to do, you're then open to receiving it all. And then you can help people, because you got to fill your cup up first before you can help anybody anyway.
So true. And I have a story I want to tell you about deservedness and worthiness. So some years ago, this is the backstory, right? Because I just think it's such a beautiful backstory. Some years ago, when I, was flying out to Maui to work with Wayne Dyers, I had this feeling that I'm going to do another session with somebody. It was just a knowing. And so sure enough, I do my regression with Wayne. He was blown away. And so the first person he could tell about it was his daughter, who was visiting him and staying with him. So she immediately was like, I want this too, right? I want to experience this too. And so Serena experienced being the keeper of this plane. So it's not a lifetime in terms of a human body and human existence. It was more of a interdimensional experience where she was this keeper of this plane, where souls will come through this plane on their path of being born as humans, and on the souls, they'll choose their personality, right? In this lifetime, I want to be, I want to have a little bit of this personality trait, a little bit of that personality trait, right? They'll just kind of compose their personality and character. And so I was saying to her, one of the questions I was asking her as she was describing this to me was, well, but where do souls come from, right? Like, where do they come to you?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, there's all these gates, if you will, that they come through. And one of the gates she told me, these gateways she told me about was a gateway, an opening for new souls to come through. And I was so intrigued.
Yeah, me too.
Right? So I said to her, well, can we go backwards, right? To see what is this whole thing about new souls? And she was like, oh, sure. And so she went into the space, into the awareness of how new souls are created. And she described to me that all of a sudden, within all that is, there's an awareness that something is missing. That all that is not all that is, right? And when I say all that is, I mean everything: the ocean, the flowers, the daisies, everything, people, animals, the extraterrestrials, other dimensions, all that is. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, within all that is, there is an awareness of a desire for new expression, new creativity, new way of creating life and experiencing life, right? Because that's what the divine does, creates and experiences. And so this awareness of this missing consciousness, this missing presence gets put together, and light and intention gets put together, and there it is, a new soul is born. And I'm listening to this and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, everybody needs to hear this story, because wait a minute, each one of us was actually wanted before we were created. Each one of us was so valued, so loved. Our contribution, our worthiness, our value was seen and known before we even existed, okay? The divine already fell in love with us before we were even put together. And yet here we are, we walk around the earth and we say, oh, poor me, I'm the only exception. I'm the one who's put together from spare parts. I was an afterthought in the mind of God. Yeah, I don't have what it takes. I'm not that special. My gifts and talents, whatever, right? They're nothing extraordinary. And meanwhile, the divine is sitting beside us and saying, but you're my masterpiece, right? Like, you're everything I wanted. And so I really hope everybody who's on the line takes this to heart and says, wow, I've been loved before I was even created. My value and my worth was known before the divine even created me. I'm the only, and there's another piece to this. I'm the only one who's not loving myself and fully and completely the way all that is loves me, right? And the reason for that is because we live in a place of free will. That's the directive of all existence. That's how we create as God in the physical, right? And so the divine loves us so much and so unconditionally that it's saying to us, I will support you and provide for you, even if you think you're unworthy. Yeah. Even right?
Whatever you command, that is what I will bring you.
Exactly. So even if you want to create experiences where people abandon you because you're not enough, where you don't receive enough financial support because you think you gotta, have it in this limiting way, I love you so much that I'm going to let you create this experience. I will provide you the people, the circumstances, the events, the coming together of everything so you experience that, because there's value in this experience, right? I'm learning through you, you're learning through this. But I know that sooner or later, you're going to change your mind. You're going to drop that old story and you're going to grow into the glorious being that I saw you as when I created you. Yes. And so
sooner the better.
right. The sooner the better. That's why all this work that we do, all this work that you guide women through is so critical, because the sooner the better. Yeah. Right? How many lifetimes have we been doing this? Right.
I have a contextual supporting evidence to support that. So, in oneness is always expressing. Like, if there was no contrast, then there would be no growth, right? So the divine is always expressing through contrast. So whenever a rocket of desire is launched, the answer has to come through. right? Like there's an answer at the same time. And you know, like people who invent things, like they receive this download, then they invent it, and then it provides a market need. So it's exactly the same thing as the story that you're sharing with us of the souls, right? Like your unique soul needed to, exactly as you are, you chose that perfectly to come in to be the answer to the question. You are the answer to the asking.
Mm.
So
Right. And how many lifetimes have you been resisting the receiving of that which you desire,
like,
right?
how much more contrast do you need? I knew I
Right,
was done. I was
exactly.
like, you know what? I have experienced contrast for lifetimes. I'm good. Just show me how this shit works so that I can figure it out and move out of it.
Very, very true, right? Exactly. And this is exactly what karma is, right? We can talk about karma in terms of repetitive patterns in this life, because we all know our patterns by now, right? Be it in relationships, be it with money, be it with our work. And so no matter what it is, we can call this present life karma, right? It's just the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
But the truth is that chances are you've been working through the same question in other lifetimes too, right? And that's why regression is so helpful in informing the understanding, right? How to unlock it. And so it's not that, you know, somehow we are stuck in the cycle of repeating things. It's just that when we're in the middle of the pattern, we're not taking control of the situation, right? That it's really what it comes down to. So we're kind of like asleep at the wheel rather than driving the bus or driving the car. And that's why all these tools we're learning here and we're practicing together are so critical, because like I said earlier, the greatest mastery is the mastery of your own self, the mastery of your mind and your emotions.
Because universe.
Right, exactly. Because if you don't, well, you'll just keep on repeating the same pattern over and over and over until one day the pain is so big that you just wake up and you say there has to be another
Exactly. Answer. That's what had to happen to me too. So I was talking to one of my clients yesterday and she was saying like my father's, she's like, I was talking about life themes, and it's funny how all this stuff like comes up, you know, before it's expressed. It's so beautiful. And so we're talking about life themes, and she was like, yeah, my dad went to a psychic and was told that his life theme is rejection. And she goes, but he doesn't want to do anything about it. So I said, you know, when someone is in that karmic experience and they are not allowing themselves to come out of it, they're not looking for answers, they're not trying to change the pattern, they're not done with it yet. Like it still is going through, and it's like I was telling her, it's just a matter of how painful is it going to get before he does something about it. Like even Wayne Dyer, it turned into leukemia before he did something about it. You know what I mean? Before the answer was shown to him. Because by the time you have the conscious awareness, oh, this is a karmic cycle, this is a karmic pattern, this pattern I've been repeating for so long, this feeling I felt for so long, by the time you have that realization, you're like, how do I change this? You're done with it. Like it shifts it, and then you open to the answer, and then you receive it. So it really is just so profound and so amazing. And you did come here for a reason, and every single thing that you've experienced in your life has been on purpose. And this is why I created the Rise of the Sacred Feminine, which you are a beautiful part of. So if you have not signed up for that, I highly recommend it. We only have a few spots left for this group. Also, if working with Mira one-to-one calls to you, please reach out to her and schedule a session, something. Like whatever it is that you do, you have to do something to change your life today so that you can change these patterns, because it's not an accident that you're here listening to this right now.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. And these are questions that just keep popping up here and there until you finally say enough is enough. I'm going to do something about it. Right. And that's been in your life. That's been in my life. And that's how we really move forward with our soul's purpose, really, with the progression of who we are, by saying, okay, now let me study this. Let me understand.
Yes. I know when I didn't know what my purpose was, when I thought I was just a human, just randomly spawned from another human, you know, when I was going through all the chaos of life, in and out of abusive relationships, doing that, I see his higher self, I see his potential, and yet needing that acknowledgement because I was so wounded from my own father rejection experience. I didn't even understand that I have a life purpose until I was told by an intuitive one time who said, God doesn't make mistakes. You came here for a reason. There's a reason why you keep choosing love over hate during this whole thing. And you were created the way you were because people are going to listen to you. And so, and I remember, and I didn't believe it at that point. And I was like, what? This is real. And the more I discovered, right, the more I discovered, the more I went into it, the more I learned, the easier my life was getting consistently. So it's like when you are on track with the plan of the divine, when you are remembering in your heart somewhere, even if it's only a little tiny bit that you remember, somewhere that you came for a reason, that you were born for a reason, and you are actively moving forward to receive that, things get easier for you. It just does. Like life just works out for you. Support shows up for you, especially when you decide to turn that into a mission to help other people come out of where you were before. You know, it really, everything, all the support you need shows up for you. So you have to do the work. Amanda says, yes, she knows, she's been with us from the beginning. Like she also went from, didn't know what she was here for to full blown knowing what she's here for in less than 2 years. So it's like, it can happen so fast. I mean, really, really fast. And I also know, because I work with thousands of women, the ones who came and experienced the most pain and the most suffering are here to do the most transformation and are the most powerful, because they're creating all the chaos in their lives.
Because our souls, I totally agree with what you said. I was just continuing the thought, because our souls really would not have set up those challenges if they didn't know we can handle it. And that on the other side of it, across from that reverse transformation, there's everything we wanted, every way we can possibly serve. Because now we've walked the journey, now we can be like, oh, but this is easy, honey, just keep going, of course, right?
Yes. Yes, I know. And so I also know how hard it can be too, which is also why I created the Rise of the Sacred Feminine and a full year of support, because it's going through all of it. It's going through the past life, the present life, the future life progressions. It's going through the Reiki Theta healing, the hypnosis, the divine effect, just everything that you possibly need to reconstruct and reprogram everything. So I also wanted to bring you on to show all the women who are already enrolled in the course what they were in for, because there's so many new ones, right? And the ones who got to experience you already with me already know, but I really wanted the ones who are new to know what they're in for, because
oh, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, absolutely. And so I also want to guide people through a quick process so that everybody, would you allow me to? I would love that.
Yes.
Guide us through a quick process for you to get an answer to a question, inner guidance, right?
Says,
and
yes.
All right. I'm seeing a lot of yeses too. Good. So here's how I want us to do this. Let's begin by you just sitting comfortably in the chair that you're in, and take a full, slow breath in. And just close your eyes and go within, tune within. You already know the way within. And isn't it wonderful to know that as you focus on your heart center, the awareness of the energy in your heart center expands and grows bigger and bigger. Just as you focus right there on your heart, the energy in your heart grows bigger and bigger. You become more and more aware of it. And isn't it wonderful to know that as you take a deep, full breath in, right there through your heart center, through your heart chakra, you're able to bring so much peace, so much relaxation into your body. And so just stay focused for a moment on breathing in through your heart and breathing out through your heart. Creating coherence not only in your heart, but also into your entire system. And now your brain and your heart will create a coherent electromagnetic field of peace and well-being within you and all around you. as you relax deeper and deeper with every next breath. And let your tongue relax on the floor of your mouth. Relax. And with a loose tongue, just naturally, easily and effortlessly, let go and relax. And with your tongue relaxed, take a deep, slow breath in. And slowly breathe out. And become aware of that vast, empty space behind your eyes. There's absolutely nothing in that space. Just endless empty space behind your eyes. And if there are any thoughts, worries, or concerns that come into that vast empty space, just let them drift on like clouds across the sky. Simply moving into that space and then moving out. Just the way clouds drift across the sky. You don't have to think those thoughts, follow those thoughts, or even worry about those thoughts. Just let them drift in and drift out. And as you continue to breathe in through your heart, notice how the more you focus on the heart center, the more your awareness of your heart grows. The powerful, balanced energy of your heart. Feel the loving energy of your heart. And with your tongue relaxed on the floor of your mouth, breathing deeply, easily and effortlessly, that vast empty space behind your eyes. Send love from your heart to somebody you deeply love. It could be a person, a child, an animal, a sage, a saint. Just feel love pour out of your heart to this being. And as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, send this love out of your heart. And now, staying focused on your heart center, think of something that you love and appreciate about yourself. What do you love and appreciate about yourself? And now feel this love in your heart embrace you. Pour it out of your heart so that it embraces you, your own love holding you. The answers are within you. The power is within you. The freedom is within you. And so now, as you're so comfortable within this energy and high frequency of love, connect with the helper within, the teacher within, that part of you. And simply now make a straightforward request, asking that some picture or an image be presented in your inner mind that will represent that portion of you that we call the inner self, the inner helper, the inner teacher. Ask for a representation of that healer, helper, teacher within. You may see a person, an animal, an insect, or even a landscape. Whatever comes up, trust it. Trust the image, the representation that you receive. And if it's a person or an angel or a being of light or even an animal, ask them to speak to you. And ask them now how to best approach resolving the situation. What's the answer to the question? And if you receive the landscape, instead ask for a series of such images that will give you a representation of the answer. The sense of freedom that you seek is the inner realization that you are a creator, that you do create your reality. By consciously directing your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations, you do have the freedom and the joy and the responsibility of forming the physical reality in which you live. Once you know this beyond the shadow of a doubt, you have the power to change it. And so whatever it is that you received as inner guidance, know that now the doorway to the inner self is open. This clear channel of communication is open. And all you have to do now is just follow through on what you received, on the resolution you received. And so express gratitude to this inner part of you, to the inner self that is always there guiding you. And now gently bring your attention back to the present moment. Knowing, trusting, and believing that which you received and committing on taking action so as to ground the guidance into the physical world. And take one last breath in through your heart and express gratitude for this community, for everyone who is here today holding you so that you reach the space of clarity within you. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I love
You're
that.
most welcome.
So if you want to type in what yours was. So the first thing that I saw was a red apple, like a shiny red apple. And I was like, that's just so weird. And then it was a dolphin and then a white gardenia. And at first I was like, what is the apple about? And I'm like, oh, teacher. And then the dolphin, I have an affinity for dolphins and they have ancient wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Like they are so connected. And then the white gardenia, I think has something to do with Hawaii because I absolutely love it. And I love the way it smells. So I'll figure that one out.
I think it's about the rise of the feminine, right? Because gardenia is such a feminine flower,
I was
right?
like, I'm gonna look up what the spiritual meaning of that is.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's see some of the people. Ruby says, I kept seeing wings and hearing a high ringing in my ears. That is awesome. Bev says, a woman lifting a weight over her head. That's great. That's overcoming something. That's being stronger than whatever you're lifting. Let's see. Selin said, I saw a beautiful big tree. Annalisa said, thank you. Christine said, blue butterflies. Jessica said, eagles, mountains, and pyramids. Ooh, Jessica. Wait until we're in the course. You're going to know exactly what all that is. Adriana said unicorn. Let's see. Yeah, everyone has so many beautiful.
I know, right?
Yeah, this is great.
I'm loving this.
Kaylee said, I saw a tree, a spiral, and a butterfly. That's amazing. Let's see. This is so beautiful. I love this. Thank you for that, Mira. That was amazing. It's so neat how it's just like once you're just
tuned within,
and you're so in the receiving mode, right? So I started realizing too in my meditations, like what was happening was my like in my silent meditations in the morning, my body would just start moving, you know. Sometimes it would like do the craziest thing. And at first I was like, what is going on? So then it was like on autoplay, of course, the Abraham video comes up and they're talking about that's when you're in the receiving mode, when your body is moving. It's like you're receiving from your inner being, from your source. You're that receiving mode. And so I even kind of felt myself doing it. And at first I was like, they're watching me. And then I'm like, first of all, if their eyes are open, like they're not doing it. So who cares? And second of all, I really honestly didn't have any reservations of it. So that is also an indication that my fears, you know, being seen or being criticized or whatever are gone because I'm not doing that to myself anymore. So that was
nice. Oh, that was so beautiful. Very special.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That was very, very special. Even just that little piece was like, whoa.
I know. I was like, oh my, at first I thought you were going to go into a past life and I was like, oh my gosh.
We need a little more time for that. I would have loved to do that for us, but we need a little more time.
I'm like, we're doing that in the course. So let's do let's wait till we're like ready for it. Yeah. So I know her voice is amazing, Alexis.
Oh, thank you.
Wait till she takes us through a past life regression. It's so amazing. Past life, present life, and future. We're going to do the future thing in the course too. So for all of you who are interested, remember I only have a few spots open for this group, and the other, it's already sold out for the other groups. So this one is the only one that's open. It's only open for the next, I think, 72 hours. So if you want to get in and have the full life transformation, then I would get in now. Use the links that you'll find in your email. You can go to rendino.co and click on the Rise of the Sacred Feminine, scroll to the bottom, choose whatever payment option you would like to feel comfortable with. And also, for those of you who know you want to work with Mira, please reach out to Mira. Mira, where would you like them to contact you at?
Just email me at info@mirakelley.com or just go to my website, easier to remember, mirakelley.com, and just right through the form of work with me, reach out.
Yes, I highly, highly recommend it. I mean, it is like above and beyond anything you will ever experience in your life. It will give you that missing link and everything will make sense. And then the amazing thing about consciousness is once one thing makes sense, it all flows in, you know, all like Tetris. Any of you ever played that? It literally just all links in and makes sense. And then you feel so amazing in life. And then when you know that you can accomplish whatever it is that your heart is desiring, when you can actually experience that life when it really is for you, there is nothing that will even get in your way. And if it does, it's like, oh, I see you. Here we go, this way. You know, you just use it as a stepping stone. Like really.
Very, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I want everyone to remember you were all born for a reason, you know. Mira and I didn't plan this out. So the fact that we were even talking about this soul purpose stuff is like so amazing, because this is one of the things that I just strive and have become a master at, is showing my clients who they are regardless of the life experience they have and what they came here to do. Because when you have that kind of confidence, it's like that's how we're going to shift the entire consciousness. And I feel like we're all ready for it, because we've all been asking for a long time, which is why all of our souls were created by the Creator, so that we could come in and fulfill our amazing piece of the puzzle of heaven on earth, because it is a reality. You know, it really is. It really is a reality. So does anyone have any questions? Do you have a few minutes to answer questions?
I would love to. I see a Q&A box here. I'm going to click on it and see what shows up. So should I read them? So Megan says, I tried a past life regression once and I couldn't get my mind to shut up. Is this normal? Yeah, it's totally fine. So what I want to suggest is
I was like, you haven't had a past life regression with Mira.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Very well said. Thank you. Thank you. Because it really makes a difference how people guide people. And so especially if you were working, Megan, actually with a recording, oh my God, such a huge difference to be with a person versus a recording. Because with a recording, you got to go with its pace, and very different when a person guides you, right? And so it's gosh, not a problem at all. Definitely give a regression a try again. Show up for the regressions we're going to do as part of this class. You're going to, Megan, have amazing experiences, very moving, very profound. Please trust me, you're not the only exception in the world that you're not going to have a regression, right? So somebody from their phone is saying, I was wondering if past life regression, oh, wait, where did you go? I was wondering if past life regression can help identify why I have so much fear in my life I can get over. Oh my God, absolutely. It'll pinpoint it right through to the core issue. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the fear disappears.
Do the sessions need to be in person? No, I work actually with most people over Zoom right here, the same way we're doing this conversation today. It's just as effective, just as powerful. It doesn't need to be in person.
Yeah, sometimes I find that it's even more powerful because they're in the comfort and safety of their own home, especially for my work when I'm accessing the subconscious mind. Yeah. It's easier to bypass that critical inner gatekeeper because they feel safe.
How many sessions does it normally take to get to the root? It could take one, it could take many. It really depends on where you are and what's going on with you, right? I usually work with people only once because that's all it takes. You know, I get them right to the core. But I also know that it's not just about this one thing. It's also connected to something else. So sometimes it might require that, but I would say go with one to begin with. After you have a regression, can you continue to receive more and more information every time? Is there ever a cap on information you can receive? Oh no, absolutely not. There's always another level of consciousness and awareness and expansion and growth. You know, there's always another level. Shine is saying, is it normal to be afraid of finding out bad things you have done in a past life? Now, my love, if you're actually afraid you've done bad things in a past life, that tells me that you're such a good person. And that tells me that, you know, because you're such a good person, please know that only good people worry that they have done bad things. In other words, yeah, probably you've done things in past life that you'll say, that's so unfortunate, so, you know, regretful, but I learned from it, right? I'm a better soul because of it. And so you will never be shown anything that you cannot handle during a regression. It's never going to feel like you're shutting down and like it's too much and you cannot handle it. And so definitely step in, because sometimes the most powerful and healing lifetimes are the ones where you see beautiful, positive, loving things, you know, where you lived your purpose, where you were part of a loving community that supported you, where you felt empowered with your voice, where you were able to impact people's lives. It's so powerful to see these happy, supportive lifetimes.
One of the things that I noticed too with that, being afraid of finding out bad things that you've done, is it's an indication of a belief system of faulty deservingness, right? Like that you've done things wrong. It's also an indication that you've been in trouble a lot as a young person, and also have a belief system that is operating that you are a bad person, which it is not true. You know you're not a bad person. You know that you're a good person, but there's part of you that believes maybe you are a bad person. So you're constantly punishing yourself. So that belief system has to be transcended. Like you have to.
I'm so happy you said that, because it's absolutely true. Yeah. So what was that book by Wayne? His book is called Wishes Fulfilled. Mine, where I tell the same story, is called Beyond Past Lives. So check out his, check out mine. So Savannah is saying, how long does a session usually last? It could be anywhere from a couple of hours to more, right? It depends on how long do we want to make it for, and how much do we want to experience and go for. Christy is saying, if you have problems visualizing a lot of the time, will it still be beneficial? Oh my God, Christy, absolutely, because receiving visual images is only one way of actually experiencing your past lives. People receive information by knowing, by smell, by feeling things. In other words, using all of our senses. So images is only one of the ways we receive information. And so you will be totally fine. Let's see what else. Am I missing any questions? Probably. Oh yeah, Martha and I are going to work together. Yes, thank you, Martha. I'm very excited.
I'm so excited.
Yes. I think there was a question somewhere in here for you, Randina. Robin is saying, Randina, is there a way to add on private work with you to the course?
Yes. PM me, Robin, and we'll talk about that. Smart woman.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Because the necessity, when things get triggered, you need to work with somebody, and Randina is the person too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons too why I keep the enrollment low. You know, I'd like to keep it under 90, because it's like I have 90 personal relationships, and I really, even just having the like one course to the next, it really is so important for me, learning what I learned through my last course, to be personal and intimate with everyone in the course, because it's just the most profound experience that you could possibly have.
And so Kelly is saying, should you prepare the body in ways in terms of food? Yeah, of course, my love. You don't want to overeat on steak and be high on some substance, right? So just feel normal and light, so that the body is not going through its own processing. You know how to do that already. Yeah. Other than that, nothing else is necessary.
I think she just wants to hear something different. You know, she was also kind of resistant about the food part. And I'm like, it's vibration, babe. Remember, it's vibration. Like whatever you put in your mouth it's a metric unit of energy. Like we want to believe, oh, we can override with our belief systems and eat whatever we want, whenever we want. And yeah, part of that is true if you can be a mastermind like that. But here's the thing, when you consume food, it messes with your vibration. So if you eat alive food, you're going to live a happier and more alive life.
Very simple. Yeah, very true. Yeah. I'm so excited everybody's engaged in and asking these questions. And the next question is, can I go into my children's past lives and my parents? You will definitely, First of all, I've worked with children, so I can definitely guide you into that. But more so, you will actually experience lives where you are connected with them. You understand the relationship karma, the patterns of interaction, and that's incredibly helpful in figuring things out, right?
Yes, especially with your children, because our children have certain personality types when they're born. They have certain soul missions, and we like to try to save them from everything or judge what they're doing or think it's wrong. And you just have to understand that they have their own soul karma, their own contracts, their own reason for being and what they came here to do. You cannot try and make them be somebody. So when you can see into their other lifetimes or even experiences that you've had, it helps you to understand why you're now having this situation that you're having. And it also helps you explain, why they're going through what they're going through. So it really is such a beautiful thing. You just become a better person the more wise you become.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Eunice is saying, in past life regression, do we get a chance to reprogram in the regression as well as learn of the past patterns? Oh my God, absolutely. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, that happens naturally. Because once you change instantaneously, everything else in your life changes too, because you're no longer interacting with it the same way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we answered everything.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Someone said, anonymous, what do the bright lights mean during these meditations? So for me, the way that I work also, even the way that I work in healings and healing people, is that light force. And so the light force for me is source. So what do you think, Mira?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So I whenever I see light in my meditations, I just see it as I'm connecting with higher frequency and higher vibration. And I'm just paying attention to the patterns that are coming through, right? I'm paying attention because I know I'm receiving at that moment. Mm-hmm. I see this question from Laura saying, how old does a child need to be to work with them? My 4-year-old son has all of a sudden calling me by a name that my dad called me for years before he died. None of my children ever heard that name. My husband had no clue, and my dad has been gone for 20 years. Oh gosh, I gave it to you, right? This is incredible. Yeah. So this is so... First of all, so exciting for you to reconnect with that love, with the soul of your dad in this way, to know that it's incarnated in your little baby. How old does the child need to be? As long as they can talk to me, I can work with them, right? So my niece was 4, 5 years old when I did a regression with her. I have worked with another boy who's had, oh my God, this is such a story. So this boy started remembering being Lou Gehrig. And started telling his mom, do you remember when Babe Ruth and I used to do these things? Do you remember what was going on with me when you were my mom in that other lifetime? And so this is a woman who has never heard of reincarnation before, never heard of regression before. So all of a sudden she's like, what's going on with my son, right? Like, not spiritual, nothing, right? And so she goes to their priest, and the priest says, oh, your son is possessed. We need to do something about it. And, like the mama bear that she was like, my son is not possessed, right? And so she starts looking for answers. And she figures out that there is a university out there in Virginia, the University of Virginia, that does studies of children who spontaneously remember past lives. She reaches out to them, they come to her, they have a conversation. And as the man is about to leave, he says to her, you know what? Sometimes, actually most cases, when the child is remembering a past life, the parent was with them in that past life. So try thinking of doing a past life regression. And he leaves, right? And that's how she finds me and starts working with me. And sure enough, she experiences a lifetime where she is the mother of Lou Gehrig. She has all these details that are not known to anybody out there. And so she says to me, can you work with my son as well? So I'm working with him. His name is Christian. And Christian has severe asthma to the point where every week they're in the emergency room because Christian is about to die, you know, that kind of a severe asthma. And Lou Gehrig actually died from, obviously, the Lou Gehrig disease, ALS, but more so, he died from the atrophy of the muscles. And back then, they didn't have life-supporting machines, so he couldn't actually breathe, right? The muscles didn't support the functioning of the rising and the lowering of the chest. So he died from a breathing related condition, right? Couldn't breathe. And so sure enough, Christian has severe asthma. And so I'm working with Christian, and we're talking about a little kid, right? I think he was 5 years old at that time. And I said to him, as I was regressing him, I said to him, you don't need to carry this condition in this lifetime anymore. This is a different lifetime. This is a different body. Your body is healthy now. Lo and behold, he has never had an asthma attack ever since. And his mom went on to write a book about it. She's creating a movie about it now. It's really profound. And so gosh, children are amazing to work with because they connect right away.
Yeah, I know. It's so easy too for them too.
And so if this is happening in your life, you know, it's somehow connected to the purpose, because the purpose of these two, even though it's about Lou Gehrig's story, is really because of the mom. So the mom experienced a lifetime where she knew about reincarnation at a time when you couldn't speak about it. And so she was persecuted for speaking that. So the two of them brought in the mission in this lifetime of spreading the word on reincarnation, that it's actually a real thing. So if these things are happening in your life, definitely look into it, right? Because it's related to your purpose. It's related to your mission for sure.
Yes. Yes. It really is. All of it is. It's like taking all the pieces of the puzzle and then putting them all together is exactly what you came here to do.
Yeah, like you were talking about the pieces of the Tetris earlier. They just really fall into place.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's see. I think that's all the time that we have for questions. Oh, Savannah said, how long does a session usually last?
Oh yeah, so we can start off by 1.5 to 2 hours as a basis, you know, to make sure we answer your most pressing questions, and then we can grow from there and make it much longer to really go into everything and to really understand everything. And I see one more question here. It says, can you do a family regression? I have 5 children, or do we need it individually? I love working with families. So it's just as easy to work with a family as it is to work individually, right? I actually did this. I flew out to San Francisco to work with this group of 5 sisters, their husbands, their children. It was absolutely profound to see all the cross connections, how everybody has been weaving in through different lifetimes together. So I love working with families. The stories are really extraordinary.
I love that. I love that too. Also, because it just gives you such a profound understanding for why certain characters in your life played the bad guy, you know, because those souls are the ones that love you the most. And I talk about this all the time, and everybody is like, what are you talking about? Explain. And I'm like, well, it's the hardest thing for them to play, to come down here and be your adversary. But you needed exactly what they came to teach you. So it's really cool when you can like really figure that out, when you really just figure it out.
Very true, because on a soul level, they're really your best friend.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's really, really good. So thank you so much, Mira, for being here with us and helping us to just really understand things in such a more beautiful way, and your work in the world to just bring this information, just full-hearted openness to teach people the truth regardless of what's been taught to them in the past. And I love it so much. It really is. You are an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you. I really love connecting with you. I love that everybody was commenting. Thank you for asking questions and chatting with us. And thank you for being here. I absolutely love connecting with you. And thank you, Rendina. You have the most amazing group of soulful women who really just a vortex of manifestation and creation. That's what this group is. So I'm so honored to have been with you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, you all know the Rise of the Sacred Feminine. Join in with us. Contact Mira for your own personal reading. It's really, really important that you continue to do the work. It never ends. It gets easier and it flows more. And so we have the one winner who is winning a regression with you, which I'm so excited. And the arrow pointed at Jessica Levitan. So Jessica, contact Mira and she will get you scheduled. I'm so excited to hear about this. I know. I was so excited. I was like, yes. It's so beautiful and amazing. And I cannot wait to hear about your experience.
I look forward to it, Jessica. Just email me at info@Mira Kelley. And I look forward to us connecting.
Yes, and thank you all, everyone else who is on here, who stayed to the end. We love you so much. We're always giving away amazing things in this community, so stay connected. And I'll see you in the course, Mira. I love you.
I love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. I love you all.